Hi, it's Tootie Tagerly coming to you today, live at close to Tuesdays at noon after a little bit of a summer hiatus. And today, I'm going to talk about a sprint or a marathon and better understanding where are you in your work today. However, even though that's a catchy title, I'm actually going to use steeplechase instead of marathon, given that I've just been watching Olympics and many of you may have been and wondering what the F is steeplechase. So a sprint, I think, is very, very clear. You have the athletes at the starting line, boom, the gun goes, and they're running as fast as they can, running, because they only need that brief spurt of energy just to get across the finish line. And it's only going to take, I don't know, 30 seconds, something like that. And if I look at steeplechase, I don't know if any of you have seen the Olympics, but a steeplechase is a longer track event where people are running around and around the track for many rounds. I don't know, 10, 12, something like that. But along the way as they're running, there are hurdles. You run. You jump over a hurdle, and that's cool. You run some more. But then what? Sometimes you jump over the hurdle and there is water as well. So I think the analogy, and in this analogy, in this metaphor, we can look at a steeplechase and a marathon as the same thing because you pace yourself for a steeplechase. It's not an instant sprint to get to the end. It's more sustained, long, comfortable run and pace, but boom, sometimes there is a hurdle. And boom, sometimes there is water and there's different ways to get over it. You might do a jump over, you might step over the barrier. Yeah, you get the point. So sprint, marathon, or steeplechase is the analogy. So as you're working today, as you look at today or this week as your work week, what is it? What does it intentionally feel like? I want to say there's no judgment. There's certain times in life where it's right to sprint. There's certain times in life where you are running the longer term marathon, and other times it's a steeplechase. A couple of my clients, as part of this great resignation, have recently started new jobs. I think the perfect time to have the analogy of a sprint is in your first 30, 60, 90 days, or sometimes first 3 to 6 months of a new job. It's new. You don't know the company, you don't know the people, you don't know the culture of it, and it's even harder to figure out if you're starting work remotely. So it's a sprint. You're constantly taking in this stream of information and trying to figure out, all right, okay, this process is new, maybe this is a new space, a new industry domain. How do I understand all of this? How do I figure out work styles with my boss, my coworkers, the teams that I have? It's a sprint because you need to put in the extra hours and the time because this is new. However, there's an end period to it because after a period of time, and for some it might be 60, 90 days, for some it might be 6 months, you settle into the rhythm. Another good example of a sprint is when you have a deadline and you got to cram, whether it's pulling it overnight for the final that's due the next day, a coding project that's due the next day, or whether it's because there's a giant launch and you have to work that weekend. We've all been there, and that's okay to know that it's a sprint. I think what many busy, high-achieving professionals fall into is getting stuck in a pattern where the work that you did started out as a sprint, started out as a push, but then became a regular thing. So a good question to ask yourself is, how long has this been going on? If you started that new job and it's past the 6 months, are you still working those 60, 80-hour weeks? Are you still up till midnight every single night getting that final polish of the report done? It's important to recognize these patterns because then this can help you intentionally choose, which goes back to the question, what do you want today to be? What patterns are you stuck in? And then how long do you want to sustain this pace? I saw an amazing article today from First Round where a CEO was sharing his work efficiency, and I'll share this in the notes as well. And he published his schedule. And what I noticed in his calendar and his schedule is that he was working 7 days a week. I think on the Sunday, there was like 2 or 3 non-work things, which were like get a haircut, see friends for brunch. But that is how he is living his life, which he states very clearly. When you are a startup CEO for the first, I don't know what it is, 1, 2, 3 years of the startup, this is going to be your life, and this is what you are going to invest at. And for him, I would say these work hours, and there was a graph of some of his work hours. I think the lowest was like a 56-hour week, and the highest was like 105. I would say for him, for what he wants to do with his life then, that's amazing. He is in a sprint, and his sprint may have become extended to be a 2 or 3 year marathon, but that's worth it for him to sustain that pace. We may all not be startup CEOs. And I think the important thing is to realize what is the choice you want to make. Do you want to be in a sprint right now? Do you want to be in a marathon right now? Do you want to be in a steeplechase right now? And what feels sustainable? So basically, ask yourself the question, what is it today? What are you in? Where did you unconsciously fall into this pattern and that became your default mode? And then set an intention. What do you want to be working in today? Is it a sprint and you're going to be done? You're going to be done in 3 months, and then settle into a sustainable pace. So remember, that pace is sustainable and it's up to you. All right, that's it for today. I'll see you next week. Bye.